Hey guys, AntVenom here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today is part 2 of our 13W36A/B Snapshot review. And in the first part, I talked about all of the new biomes and flew around and showed you guys all of them and whatnot. And then the following video was a top 5 seeds of me, showing off all of the different seeds and giving you guys a seed with which to spawn into for those new biomes. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to launch right into it here. And today is going to be the sort of mechanical changes that have come into the game, along with the new additions as well. If I do wind up missing anything, as always, I will put a little disclaimer thingy in the description noting what I missed. So if you guys figure out something that I missed, then feel free to leave a comment with it in the comment section down below, and I will be sure to add that in. But anyways, moving on here, the first thing that I want to get into here was something I actually forgot to put into this giant line of things here, was that there's been a complete rewrite of the achievement system. So now they tie in with the scoreboard system. They're per world / per server, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. The achievement screen can be zoomed out with the mouse wheel. If the particular achievement that you're looking to look at, if you require 5 or more achievements in order to get to that achievement, then the tooltip for it won't show up. So I'll show you guys that here in just a second. And then blocks actually don't show up in your statistics, or mobs killing you or anything like that. They don't show up if you haven't had any interaction with them yet. And then there's 5 new achievements that I'm going to make you guys figure out for yourselves. Yeah, try out the achievements for yourselves. Maybe a new achievements video will be coming soon, like all the achievements in 1 or 2 days or something. That could be interesting. Yeah, anyways, so let me go ahead and let me hit escape here and go to the achievement section. So you can see now it's a little bit clearer what's going on. You can see a little arrow here. It's pretty much the same thing, but now if I zoom out here, you can actually see stuff that's going on. And then you can see the wheat one. As you can see here, it requires 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's the 5th one in line, and it won't actually show up. So you can kind of see they get darker the further and further away they are, and the same thing shows up with the fish one here, and this one right here, and yeah. Alright, anyways, moving on here. There's been a ton of new changes to fishing, in that now you can actually get some new enchantments for your fishing rods, and as well, whenever you catch fish, there's now a chance of you getting either a set of rewards, which is this second line here, or a set of junk. And then there's a couple of new fish as well. There's the raw salmon, which can be cooked for cooked salmon, and yeah, there's also the puffer fish, which I have heard it may poison you or something. Not really too sure about that one. Maybe, you know what? Let me actually look that up, because I feel like I need to know this. Okay, so puffer fish. Yeah, it'll poison you, give you nausea, and it gives you hunger if eaten. And it's also used in a water breathing potion, so that's interesting. And then there's clownfish, which I think heals like half a heart or something. Doesn't really do too much aside of that. And as I said before, there's new fishing enchantments as well. There's one called lure, which increases the chance of you catching fish. And then this one, the luck of the sea one, increases the chances of you getting treasure. And then you can also combine both them onto one single enchantment as well. So there's been a couple of new changes as well as to how fishing actually looks. So no longer is it you just drop your lure in there and you wait for it to bob. Now you can see, oh god, okay, a little too steep of an angle there. Yeah. Right now there's a glitch where it kind of floats above the water, but as you can see, the water around me and then even the ground a little bit kind of sputter, has these little water sputters that go on. And then if you just kind of wait now, you're actually going to see, it may wind up taking a little bit here, but you're going to notice that there's going to be like a line of splashes in the water there whenever a fish is nearby and going towards the lure. So you're going to see that. We just kind of have to wait for it here. It's very, very clear to see once it actually does happen though. And the water sputters happen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Bam. And we have ourselves a puffer fish. Yeah, I'm not going to eat that. You can go back. You can go back to living where you belong, because yeah. So the new rewards that you can get, these are things that you can wind up catching in place of fish. So you can get an enchanted fishing rod, an enchanted bow, an enchanted book, a name tag, a tripwire hook, lily pad, and saddle. And then some of the quote-unquote junk that you can wind up getting is a regular fishing rod, or no, just a damaged fishing rod, a water bottle, string, leather, bowl, boots or damaged boots, and then a stick. And I think there might be another item or two in there as well, but they were not listed. So yeah, that's some of the random junk that you can get. I'm just going to go ahead, let's see here. You know what, just to try and increase my chances here, let me go ahead and let me use the luck of the sea one to try and get treasure, because I messed with this earlier, and I got a saddle, and it was awesome. So let's just go ahead and let's try and get one more here. Hopefully it's quick. Yeah, I do really like that the water sputters are there to tell you when you are in like fishing mode, because there were instances before where if your lure like hit the edge of something, then you couldn't actually get a fish and it was weird. So at least now you can kind of know when you're in that mode. All right, just we're waiting. Come on, fishy, 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 fishy. Come on, fish. There we go. Oh, I went too early. Crap. Okay, so you still have to wait for the view bob, but at least now you can actually see when it's happening. But anyways, you guys get the idea. This is the stuff that you guys can get, and it is awesome and stuff. Let's go and let's move on. All right. So, new feature that has been added in that I don't fully understand, but I kind of get the idea of, and you guys are going to have to look on the wiki to get an exact idea of how this works, because it is fairly complicated. You can now actually give yourself an item. If I go ahead and I hit this button here, you can see that I have given myself the majestical shoes, and says, "He who wore these shoes was a champion." And yeah, you can add various, lore onto your items now. And you can also add different things like you can increase the attack damage. I think you can add enchantments and whatnot. Anything that can be added to an item, using the old school methods that people, who made maps used. Like if you ever played a custom map that had some crazy, different settings, different things on it, then you can do that with the command block now. And it's crazy and it's awesome. And thank you, Jip, for doing that. So yeah. Alright, so as I noted before, the scoreboard can now track achievements, but I'm going to show you guys that here a little bit more in depth. I'm not going to actually get into it too much, but basically this does require a basic understanding of how the scoreboard system actually works. So if I go ahead and I go into objectives here, add, and then let me just make a name for this, so stuff. And then I hit tab, you're going to see there are a ton of different things now. It can track literally the use, crafting, and destruction of every single block. And as well, if I go ahead and I think if I type in A here, you can see the various achievements that are here. So, bake bread, kill cow, portal, build furnace, build sword, etc., etc., etc. You can just see that it goes through all of these. And it looks like I just saw killing the wither as an achievement in there. So now killing the wither is an achievement. Good luck, have fun with that. Oh my god. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much how that works. And if you guys, again, you want to see more information on specifically how this works, feel free to check out the Minecraft wiki and other pages to figure out how that works. So yeah, I'll get into this bit here in just a little bit, but I wanted to turn the music off. Slash time set day now sets your time to 1,000. So if I go ahead and I type in slash time set day here, you're going to see the sun pop up over there, and I have the day-night cycles turned off, so that's why the sun's not actually moving. The distance fog has been increased a bit. I actually don't see any distance fog at all. I'm actually kind of curious here. So that's the normal distance. Yeah, I don't actually see the fog itself. Okay, that's kind of weird. All right, let's just go ahead and let's set it to, let's set it to tiny. Okay, so you can actually see, yeah, so it does seem to be a little bit, okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's set it to far, back to where we like it. Alright, so moving on here, the 3 new blocks that have been added into the game, and aside from the flowers, the 3 solid blocks that have been added into the game is Podzol, and it doesn't actually spread, and grass doesn't spread onto it, so it's just kind of there on its own, so you don't have to worry about that. There's the new grassless dirt, which if you type in /give... and then your name, and then 311, and this one can just be the quantity, so that's just the quantity here. It will give you the grassless dirt, and grass will not grow onto that dirt. This has been sitting here for quite a while, and it has not grown grass onto it, so it works. And the packed ice is, it isn't translucent or anything, or maybe the correct term is it is translucent, in that you can't actually see through it, and it isn't affected by things like torches or whatnot like that, so it's pretty awesome. And yeah, when it's broken, it doesn't actually turn into water like normal ice blocks do, so you can just go ahead. Let me give myself a diamond pickaxe here, because I'm a little bit curious. I haven't actually tested this yet, but I want to make sure it's actually going to give me the block. So game mode, let's see, survival, there we go, mine it up. No, it doesn't actually give you it at all. So yeah, I think you actually require the and I think with this one it doesn't give you this as well. Nope, doesn't give you that. So you actually require the silk touch in order to get either of those. So that's kind of interesting. So don't try to not find an ice spikes biome without a silk touch pickaxe first. So yeah, all right, let's go and let's go to creative here. So now moving on to the new flowers, there are a ton of them, and they all have their various uses. The dandelion here, you can see, so there's a bunch of different flowers. A bunch of them here are single high, and then there's a bunch that will spawn double high. The double high ones actually cannot be put into flower pots. When you apply bone meal to them, you'll get the flower themselves, and the sunflower itself will typically face east. And I'm actually a little bit curious here. If I go ahead and I bone meal regular flowers, no, it doesn't actually give you that flower. However, if you just bone meal a random area, now it can apply any of the flowers using just the bone meal itself. And if you apply the bone meal to regular tall grass, it will grow the double tall grass. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on here. So the new ones that have been implemented, well, dandelion and poppy were already there, except poppy has replaced the rose. There's the blue orchid, the allium, I think that's how you pronounce that, the azure blute, the red tulip, pink tulip, white tulip, orange tulip, oxeye daisy, lilac, double tall grass, large fern, rose bush, peony, I think that's how you pronounce that, not sure, and then, or peony, and then the sunflower. So yeah, I've written above these specifically what these do. So this one is replace the rose. This one is used to create light blue dye, magenta dye. Like this one's magenta dye. This one's light gray. These ones right here, all of the tulips can be crafted into these ones. The red, or yeah, this one can craft the red dye, pink dye, white dye, and orange dye. This one, it might actually be light gray. Not too sure about that. But yeah, I can craft those respectively. And then this one right here can be used to craft the light gray dye, the oxeye daisy here. And yeah. So that's all of these in a nutshell. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to apply bone meal to all these just to see what it... Oh, it doesn't actually do anything because these signs are here. You know what? Destroy the signs. I just want to see what it does. See if any of these are affected by bone meal directly. Because I don't actually think that they are. Let's see, that one. Nope, so none of those are actually affected by bone meal directly. But these ones, if you apply the bone meal to them, it'll, I think with the exception of the tall grasses here, it'll actually give you the flowers. So you can apply bone meal and get tons of them and plant them, and it's awesome. And yeah, and they will automatically plant double high. And if you destroy, yeah, there we go. Sweet deal. All right, so moving on here, there are some new monster eggs that have been implemented into the game, which is pretty simple. The mossy, cracked, and chiseled stone bricks can now have monster egg variations, and I'm not sure if they spawn naturally in strongholds, but now they are of use if you want to use them. So yeah, all right, moving on here. Books are now clonable in that if I go ahead and I take, you know, my brilliant, majestic story that I have written here, the cow went... If I go ahead and I take that majestic story and I take a book and quill into a crafting square, you can go ahead and you can toss them in here and it will now clone your majestic story of awesomeness. So that's pretty cool. So it can be done in the same way that maps can be cloned. Sugarcane is now darker and it changes color depending on the different biomes. Now because I'm on a super flat map, I can't actually demo this because it's just a giant plains biome. So yeah, but just take my word for it that they're now slightly different in the biomes. It doesn't really change. They haven't really been changed too much other than that. A couple of the smaller changes that I'm going to be getting into here. You can now use resource packs. You can use more than one at once, and the top one takes priority. So like if your top resource pack is missing a texture that the second one has, then the second resource pack will take precedence over that. And it's pretty cool. Flint and steel is now a shapeless recipe, and when you flint and steel, and I'm actually going to demo this because I really want to, if you flint and steel a creeper, it will automatically explode. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set the game mode here to be normal, and boom! Oh, it just sets it off. Okay, so it doesn't set it off immediately. It just kind of sets it off like that. So, hey, now you can do that automatically. Okay, so it doesn't actually do that. It's only if you right-click on them with a flint and steel. So, you could really troll your friends like that. That would be amazing. You just lure them, and then your friend's right there, and then boom! Oh, God. And then you fall into the hole and die. So, yeah. All right. So, moving on here, there are fewer black spots in the terrain generation, and what that means is that underneath the overhangs, there used to be a lot of black spots in the terrain generation, and it would look all ugly and stuff, and yeah, those have been fixed. Thank you, Jeb, for doing that, and thank you, Jeb, for the non-infinite oceans now. You've really fixed two of the biggest problems that this game had. And then there were various torch bugs that were spawned throughout strongholds. Basically, torches would be floating in strongholds, and then there would be lighting bugs with them. Yeah, those aren't really an issue anymore. Yeah. Alright, moving on here. There's been a complete rewrite of the in-game options menu that I'm going to be getting into after all of this here. I'll just be getting into it at the very end. You can now tap the control button to sprint. It's control by default, and then double tapping also works if you can't really get used to it right away. But it's really good for parkour. You can just hold control down, and then boom! Yeah, you are sprinting. So no longer do you have to worry about, hey, he's cheating. He uses a better sprint mod. Yeah. I actually always thought that was a little bit cheap, but whatever. Yeah, you can now tap control to sprint, and you can change that if you would like to in your control menu. There are individual volume meters now for everything. I'll get into that. Iron golems now drop poppies, which were replaced by roses, or which replaced roses, right? And then dead bushes can now be placed on top of hardened clay. All right, so now we're done with all of that stuff. We are now going to move on to the in-game options menu. So if I go ahead and I hit escape here, I already showed you guys the achievements bit here. If I go into the statistics area and I go to things like mobs and whatnot, I've apparently killed one wolf, and I've killed one mushroom, and I've never been killed by a mushroom. So if I get killed by a creeper, it'll say you have never killed a creeper and you have been killed by. So that's really, really cool. The item usage thing, these are the only things that I have used apparently. So I haven't used, powder as in, okay, so it apparently shows powder even though it was actually bone meal that I've used 40 times. I've used 65 signs, and etc., etc. And then you can see the block usage for things right here. So this is all the items that I have used in the making of this map. Alright, so moving on to the options menu here, you can see that things have changed up quite a bit. The field of view is now right here. I actually usually like to play with about 75 to 80. You can change your difficulty right here. And now you have a whole bunch of different little menus here. Well, for the most part, they were there before. One thing that kind of annoys me about the snapshot, and I think it's a bug, that every time you exit out of your game, it resets your volume settings, or maybe it's when you switch between different versions of the game. That might be it. But yeah, so now you can change your music, the jukebox and note blocks things separately. You can change all of these separately. So now if you don't want to hear the weather, because the rain is really annoying, as it is, you can go ahead and you can turn it down without having to turn down the rest of your game, which is awesome. I'm going to turn weather down to like 25. Thank God. I love this. This is awesome. And then you can turn the master volume down if you want to turn everything off. Or if you want everything to run at about 50%, but you still want your game to monitor these things, then having this at 50% and having this at 25, the weather will be more like 12.5, I think. That's probably how that works. If it doesn't, I apologize. Moving on here. Alright, so now there's apparently a super secret settings that when you click on it, it plays a low pitch version of whatever you like, of a random thing. Yeah. So, I don't think this menu likes to be clicked on. What are you going to do about it? Alright, moving into the video options menu here, nothing really has changed in here. If I go into the controls menu, this has been changed completely. The invert mouse and touch screen mode were already there, along with the sensitivity. But now you can rebind everything. Now, I'm never really going to rebind my hotbar things, but it is nice to be able to rebind taking a screenshot. The cinematic camera by default, at least for me, was unbound, but you can rebind it to whatever you want, so they haven't removed that. You can toggle the perspective thing to be a different key, and here you can toggle everything else. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, all of these were changed before, but now it is a lot more organized, and it is awesome. So, yeah. All right. And again, the main thing that you guys are really going to want to worry about is now that sprint is toggleable. So now you can, I think you can just make it whatever. So now I've made it numpad 5 if I never want to use that. But who am I kidding? I want to always have that. It's awesome. It's amazing. You can reset the keys if you don't like it. Because I do have the one thing that's bound here. If I reset it, you see cinematic camera isn't really bound by anything. But now I'm going to put it back to F8. All right. So moving on here. The last real thing that I think has been changed at all, because all of these are pretty much the same. I'm going to snooper settings. That's pretty much the same. Yeah. Okay. So if I go to resource packs now, I can go ahead and I can change up, I can do stuff with these. So if I want to have the Faithful Venom in there, then I can go ahead and I can do that. And the Faithful Venom will take precedence over the default pack. So pretty much anything that the Faithful Venom does not have, the default pack will put in its place. So yeah, as you guys can see here, since I don't have the thing set for these right here, the different flowers, then I can go ahead and it'll use these. Now the dandelion and rose ones show up because I think they still use the same the same textures, or the same texture placement. So that's pretty awesome. I'm not even going to lie. Like, now it means I can be even lazier with setting up my texture pack. Yeah, or my resource pack, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers about everything that I wanted to cover in this snapshot review, in this part 2 here. It has been a long part 2. Hope you all have enjoyed. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, if I have missed anything, then feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and as long as you know that it was a part of the snapshot, then feel free to leave a comment about that, and I will be sure to add something into the description noting what I have missed. So yeah. Anyways, guys, hope you all have enjoyed. My name is AntVenom, and I bid you all farewell. And if you guys want to check out the other two parts, the other part of my snapshot review, along with the top 5 seeds video that I did, then the links will be in the description below for that. But anyways, yeah, hope you all have enjoyed. My name is AntVenom, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks so much for watching.